Well, g'day everybody, and welcome to my second tutorial or second how-to on Medieval Dynasty. I thought I'd put this one together because everybody was really happy about the how-to that I did on managing settlers and stuff. Now, I am in a game that I've been streaming, so I am quite advanced in this game. But what I thought I'd do is just walk you guys through a couple of the things, because when you first start on Medieval Dynasty, it can be a little bit of a confusion, just a little bit, as to what you need to do and what your priorities are in the start. And you kind of do a little bit, perhaps a little bit of a have a little bit of a panic, because you're worried about winter coming and all that type of stuff. So I thought I'd give you a couple of little tips that I've learnt playing quite a few hours of this now, and streaming it for quite a few hours, and my amazing community have given me tips and tricks, and we've sort of worked it out together. So I thought I'd share that with you guys. So basically, the first thing that you will do in Medieval Dynasty is you start up here. You start up about here. No, sorry, up about here. Somewhere around this area here. And the first thing that you need to do is go down and see, go down into Gostovia and see Unigost, who is he's sort of the mayor of the town and stuff. So I would head straight down there as soon as you start and see him. After that, and just go through sort of that those little bits and pieces. There's a little bit of dialogue there and stuff, nothing significant and stuff. But after that, you're pretty well left on your own. Now, the one thing that I found is in a massive panic, thinking, winter's coming. What do I do now? I need to get a house built and stuff like that. I went and built a house in this area over here. But what I didn't realize is that all of this area here is all very hilly area. Now, there's a lot of trees and stuff there. The problem is you can't build other buildings on a hilly area. So my suggestion would be, don't panic for starters, and make your way around the map a little bit. Talk to some people, obviously, as you go, and just have a look at the landscape and find yourself a really nice flat place that you can expand your entire village in, because the whole idea here is that you build your own village and create your own town, and bring people in, and bring other settlers into your town, and you expand as you go. Always make sure wherever you do decide to set up your village, that you are close to a water source. That's pretty important. Even if it's just a creek, a tiny little creek, because on these tiny little creeks you can still drink water and gather water from these tiny little creeks. So you don't necessarily need to be here. And I've found, after wandering around the map for hours and hours and hours, I've found some really nice some really nice flat spots around some lakes and in some areas around here and stuff, and over here. So there are a lot of flat areas around. The other thing that you want to make sure that you do is be relative, and you can see this area here is where I am building my village, because the thing is that these houses won't build on the side of hills. They will build in these areas here, which is relatively flat, so that's okay. So we could place a building in here. But if you were to try and build it on the side of a hill, say just over the other side of here, where there's a big hill and stuff like that, then you won't be able to place buildings, which means that it limits the size of your village. And at the moment, as you can see, my village is, I have the potential here to create a massive village by placing buildings, and you can see what I've placed here. You can see that my blacksmith is there working away, creating resources for me. So I will be able to expand right through here and right through there. Now, the other thing that is worth noting is that you can't build too close to an existing town, meaning that if I wanted to expand this way, my village this way, I've got quite a bit of room, but I would get to a point up here where I was too close and I wouldn't be able to place any buildings. That's another mistake I've made in my YouTube series, which is building here, because I can only build out to about here before it tells me I'm too close. So I'm going to have to expand over the other side of the river there and keep my village going through there. On my Twitch one, which is this one on my Twitch save, then I've got all of this area here to expand. I can probably expand down to, I reckon, about that junction there. So that's another thing worth noting. So flat ground, don't panic about getting a house up, but flat ground and far enough away from villages that from other villages that you don't come in, you don't run into the error of not being able to expand too far. So anyway, so the first thing is you get into the game, you go down and you see Unigost, and then he tells you, well, I won't tell you what he tells you, but I mean, you probably already all know anyway. Now, a couple of really important things. Hitting Q gives you this crafting menu. Now, you won't have everything unlocked here at all, but my suggestion would be that the first thing that you do is craft yourself a couple of wooden spears. Now, to do that, you need logs, which means that firstly, you need to create a stone axe. Now, a stone axe is very easy. You'll be able to create this from the start. It requires 10 sticks and 2 rocks. Which are quite easy to get. Now, it's worth noting that that the closer you are to water and creek beds, the more rocks you will find. So, as opposed to being out in, so there's a rock there, as opposed to being out in the bush and the forest like that, you'll find more rocks along the riverside. So, we can also grab. You can take sticks from pine branches. As so, and you get sort of more than one stick, or you can pick sticks up off the ground. For example, there is a stick there, and there is a rock there. Okay, but you only get one stick when you do that. So the other thing is when you do have an axe, so to craft your axe, you will go into the Q menu, you will go into there, and you will click on there to craft an axe. Now, I'm not going to craft one because I already have one. Actually, I am going to craft one because I actually have a steel one at the moment, so I'm going to craft myself a stone axe. So once you've crafted yourself a stone axe, you go into the tab menu and you will see your stone axe here. Now, to allocate your stone axe into a slot, into a quick slot, then you would highlight it like that, and then say I wanted it in number 4, I would hit number 4 on the keyboard, and it is now in there. So as soon as I hit number 4, my axe comes up. So that's step number 1, craft yourself an axe. Now, what you want to do once you've crafted yourself an axe, the second most important thing to do is to chop yourself a tree down. And the reason why we're chopping ourselves a tree down at this point in time is, and that tree will fall down, and then we will go over there and we will hit that. Now, I found that if you straddle a tree like that and then hold down the left mouse button, then you will be able to chop that tree up. Some people do have a few problems. So you've collected your logs. The next thing that you want to do is you want to go into your crafting menu and you want to craft wooden spears. Now, as opposed to just going and clicking on it like that, you've got 4 logs on you. So I would hit R, and that'll allow you to craft 4 new spears. I've got a lot of stuff on me, so I'm probably going to have to get rid of this anyway, get rid of a lot of this stuff anyway. I streamed this for 6 hours last night, and I do have quite a few materials on me because you do get encumbered. You can see down here you have a weight here. So at the moment I'm carrying 46.25 kilos of my 40 kilo limit. So that's kind of worth noting. I do have quite a few resources there. So I'm just going to drop these off, and then I will see you when after I've dropped those off, guys. Okay, so you've crafted your axe, you've chopped a tree down, and you have crafted some spears so that you are now protected. So you would go into your tab menu and you would hit your wooden spear, and you would select what slot you wanted in. So I've got 3, so I would hit number 3 so that I could just grab my spear out. And I would suggest initially there are boars and wolves around here, so while you're wandering, so I would be very careful and keep a spear on me at all times. The other thing that you want to look for while you are wandering around looking for a place to stay is to look for this broadleaf plantain. And that's really, really important, broadleaf plantain, and pick that up. The reason being, and it's see that little leaf there with those brown stalks on it. That is the broadleaf plantain. Now the reason why, there we go, you can probably see that a little bit better. The reason why you want to pick that up is because that is what sits in your consumables, and as you can see, it gives you plus 10 health, so it's a healing herb. So that's really, really important. The other thing to remember as you are wandering around is you can pick mushrooms, and you will find mushrooms. You'll find mushrooms around the map as you wander, but it's worth noting that different mushrooms are poisonous during different seasons. So a mushroom that you find might be okay during spring, or summer, but won't be okay in during, say, winter or something like that if you were to pick it. So and the way to do that, the way to see that is, if I can find myself a mushroom here, the other herb to pick up is these little yellow flowers here, which are St. John's wort. And if you poison yourself by eating a mushroom that you're not supposed to eat, or anything like that, then St. John's wort is the way to counteract that poison. So that is also worth knowing. So you can eat those mushrooms, etc. So what you want to do is, while you're wandering around, you want to keep your eye out for animals, and you want to hunt some animals and get yourself a little bit of meat so that you have something to eat. Now, to drink, you can drink at any water source at all. So let me go to a nice little hunting area, and it's near a creek, and I will see you when we get there. Okay, so as you can see, I'm in an area here that has a few deer in it. Now, there are deer, there are rabbits, there are boars, there are wolves, and there are bears. You can harvest the resources from those: hides, furs, and as well as meat, obviously. And that's going to be your staple diet in the beginning of the game, so it's worth noting. Now, if I've got a spear in my hand, I can hold down the right mouse button and hold my spear up like that. Now, I've found that if you offset, so the spear runs to the right, and it drops quite a little bit. So if you offset your throw, then you are more than likely going to hit your target, but you've got to account for that. So once you've done that, you do need to craft yourself, which I should have mentioned, you do need to craft yourself a stone knife in the crafting menu. As you can see, a stone skinning knife before you're able to skin an animal. That's quite easy. That's 5 sticks and 2 rocks, and that's the same way as crafting yourself an axe. So that's worth noting. So you will find now that once you have done that, in your inventory under your food, then we have some meat here that we can cook. And we also have a little bit of leather that we gathered from that animal. So that is worth noting. Now, any water source, including those larger water sources, you can drink from. Down on the bottom left-hand side, you have a little gauge there. The blue bar is your water, and the orange bar is your satiation or your hunger. The red bar is your health, and the green bar, as you can see, is stamina. And your stamina and the amount that your hunger drains are things that you can upgrade as you go further into the game. So any water source, creeks and all, standing over there and holding down E, and now you can see that our water is full. So this would be an absolutely lovely place through here to build a massive village. I will probably build one here in some playthrough at some point in time. All right, so you've crafted yourself your axe, you've crafted yourself your stone knife and some spears. You've done a little bit of hunting. You're still wandering around looking for a good place, and you haven't found a good place to set up your village yet. And night is coming. Now, you've got all of this raw meat that you've taken off these animals, and you need to cook it. So what you need to do is you need to make a torch for starters. Now, to make a torch, you would find reeds like this alongside larger waterways, and it's only the larger waterways that I've been able to find these. Sometimes all of these reeds are actually in between cattails and stuff, so you've got to actually look for them. So what you would want to do is you want to collect yourself some of those. like so. We'll just grab a few of those and go back into your crafting menu here, and you can see that we need to craft a simple torch. Now, to craft a simple torch, you need 10 straw and 1 stick, which is easy enough. So we will collect straw from reeds, which is the only place that you can get straw from at this point in time, like so. And then we will go into our crafting menu, craft ourselves a simple torch, like so. Once you've crafted yourself a simple torch, what you need to do is you need to click on that simple torch, and you need to hit F to equip it. And as you can see, when you hit F, it equips in here. Now, if you hit F on your keyboard now, then your torch comes up like that. Now, those torches do wear out, and they do wear out relatively quickly. A little bit later in the game, you will get to the point where you actually have can craft better torches that last for a lot longer. So you've crafted your torch, you've gathered the reeds, you've crafted your torch. Now what you want to do is, because night is looming, now there's no need to panic too much. I haven't been attacked by any animals yet while I'm sleeping overnight or anything. So there's no need to panic too much about that, unless you throw yourself right in the middle of somewhere where there's a lot of pigs. Wolves, pigs, and bears are the ones that attack you. The foxes, the rabbits, and the deer obviously don't. So I'm just collecting some more branches, and yep, night's coming. So you want to be able to build yourself a fire and cook yourself some some of the meat that you've done to get your hunger down. So to do that, you go into your queue menu again, into other, and you can see campfires there. Now we can make a simple campfire using 16 sticks and place that on the ground. Now to light that campfire, you need to have a torch. You don't have to have it in your hand, but you need to hold down E to light your campfire. And as you can see, you have two options there. You've got cooking and sleep. For cooking, you just tap the E and you go into this cooking menu. Now, as you can see, we've got 4 meat, and to cook one meat, you would just click on it, or to cook multiple, you would hit R, drag the slider across, and accept that. And we will now cook that meat that we got off that deer. Let it go there. There we go, lovely. All right, so we'll get out of that. And we can go back into here now. We can go into our food, and you'll see we've got roasted meat there, which is what we've just, these 4 pieces, which is what we've just cooked. Now, it's worth noting that any food that you do have on you does go off. So to eat that roasted meat, you would highlight that and you would hit F. And as you can see, each time I eat a piece of meat, it goes up. Now, you do need quite a bit of meat. Later on, when you go into town, you can buy flatbread if you want, and flatbread gives you 40 nutrition as opposed to the 6 that the roasted meat does. So that is worth noting. So there you go. So it's night time. You can still wander around. You don't need to sleep in this game. You can wander all night if you've got yourself some torches built and stuff. And I would always recommend having 2 or 3 torches on you, especially with the especially when you have the simple torches in the beginning, because they do die relatively quickly, especially if you're walking around at night. Or alternatively, if you don't want to walk around at night, then you can quite simply just sit here and hold down the E key. I'm not going to do it here because we're not at night, but you would hold down the E key and it would give you like that, and it will give you the option to sleep. So until the day, but as you can see, that is not available for another 2 hours and 40 minutes for me because it's not night time. And then you would wake up in the morning and continue on your journey. So there you go. So in the after you've done that, you basically and you've found a nice location that you want to build a village on. You're close to water, you're close to reeds, you're close to some forests which are up there. Then that's when you would go into your build menu, up to building and houses, and you will have a simple small house. Now, to build a simple small house, you would need 6 logs, so you won't be able to place that house until you've got the 6 logs. But to build that small house, you also need to make yourself a wooden building hammer. And that wooden building hammer allows you to, you need to have that in your hand to place any buildings and to build any buildings. So that's simple. That's 1 log and 10 sticks. And then once you have that in your hand and you go into building and you go into houses and you have 6 logs on yourself, then you can actually place that simple small house and start building it. And your village has started, and you're on your way to creating a dynasty for yourself. So I hope that's all right, guys. I hope that that quick lesson on the things that I've found out and how I would start the game if I was to start it again. I hope those tips help you out. It can be a little bit of a confusion coming into here straight off, and you do kind of have a little bit of a panic. Thinking to yourself, oh no, I need to build a house before winter. Oh no, I need to do this, I need to do that. But you really don't need to initially. You start in spring, so you've got a few seasons until winter, and you don't need to panic too much about that. So take your time, enjoy, do some hunting, find a really nice location where you know you can expand your village. Like here, you could have a sprawling city in here. It's so flat, and work your way from there. So I hope this has helped you. If it has, please hit like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. I am doing a series of this on YouTube, and I am also streaming this on Twitch very, very regularly. So come and join us on Twitch as well, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.